Okay, so we're back for the last process video for coil pot. You see that I'm put my last coil on here and I am attaching. As I go in here, I'm just pushing down so that the connection begins to be made. And this is a pretty thick coil, so that's okay because I'm going to thin it out in just a minute. So I'm pushing down on the inside, as you can see, until I come all the way around. And then we'll start dealing with finishing this guy off. I'm going to come in here with my rib. And I'm kind of going diagonal and pulling down. Diagonal and pulling down, and I'm also supporting the outside with my left hand. I'm going to go all the way around, and then I'll do the outside. Remember that you don't want this to be super thick, so even if you make a thick coil, the idea is for you to then thin it out by ribbing it or by pinching it. There we go. So we're all the way around, and it's not pretty yet. We'll get to that stage in a minute. Right now we're just worried about connecting everything. All right, so here's the outside, and again, I'm going to come down, supporting the inside and coming down to blend that coil into the bottom. And we'll go all the way around till it's secure, and then we'll hit it with the rib just like before. Sometimes most of the time I'm coming down with my thumb like this, but there's some areas that work better pushing up instead of pulling down. So I would suggest try and pull down as much as you can, but you can kind of feel when it's awkward. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and again supporting. I'm going to rib this. I think I'm going to switch to my yellow rib because it is a little bit stronger. And at this point, I'm pulling down a little bit, but I'm mostly just coming across and rubbing and spreading this thinner as well as joining it, combining it. Again, this is not going to look super pretty at this stage, but we will clean it up in just a few minutes. There we go, all the way around, ribbing until it is fully connected. The key is you do not want to see any seams. You don't want to see the coil shape at all. The coil itself was just used as a building tool, and there's times when you can leave your coils visible and it becomes decorative, but that's not where we're at with this piece right now. So I definitely wanted this a little bit shorter, but again, clay will shrink, so you want to make it a little bit taller than what you want it to be. Right now, this is about 2 1/4 inches tall, and it'll shrink to 2 inches. So now I'm just going to come across the entire piece and pinch so it's thinning out my wall. I'm really feeling all the way from the bottom where it connects to the base to the top, and I'm only pinching where I feel the thickness. And as a result, it's getting taller and it's getting thinner when I do that. So go around the whole piece. If you guys want to make a bowl, then of course you'd start with a round base, and you could even use this cookie cutter right here to start your base. And then you would go taller, of course, because you want to be able to fit a sufficient amount of food in your bowl. This, again, is just going to be a succulent planter for me. So I'm not going to get too tall. But I do want it to be thin enough that it's not super heavy, and then it also looks refined and finished. Okay, so I think my thickness is good. At this point, if you wanted to, you could use a paddle to strengthen the walls. Always a good idea. Strengthening, going around the whole piece, and paddling it. You want to maybe go around a couple of times. There we go. And I'm really going to rib out the inside. Ribbing the inside so it's nice and smooth. We're starting to really clean this up now. Now that we're done with the height, we are thinning and cleaning out the piece. And we're going around. This is why these banding wheels work really well for this project, because you do need to keep spinning this piece as you make it. All right. I'm just feeling around for thickness that I missed. I'm feeling like it's pretty good. If you have an area that is dipped like this, you can kind of see that that's a little lower. You can patch it with a teeny coil to come up. This top layer is pretty wet still, so I don't need to score. Just make sure that you smooth it in really good so that it doesn't want to come off. Both sides, the inside and the outside. And now my rim is pretty level, but I'm going to sure form in just a few minutes. I'm going to let this dry a little bit first. It's thinned out. It smooths a bit. I still have a lot of smoothing to do, but I'll get to that later. You can see that there's a lot of areas in here that have little carved in lines, but that's okay too. So thinning it out, making sure the walls are raised and not flopping over. And we're just going to leave it alone right now. Just leave it alone, let it dry, and we'll come back to it.